And then now we're moving back to another Final Fantasy. But this one I feel is like, it's interesting because it's a lot with the careers focus.
So, yeah.
So Final Fantasy 13.
This is a bit of a self-indulgent entry, I'm afraid.
That's okay. We love it.
Well, I thought, the games that made me, I don't think I could point to a game that's made me, in terms of my career, more than Final Fantasy 13 did. Because, again, when that was coming out, I was very, very excited. Booked a week off work.
Love it.
I was there 9 a.m. release day outside Game in Chiswick. So I went in, bought the game, bought a copy of the official piggyback strategy guide as well, of the hardback version. Like sprinted home to the tube, sprinted off the tube back to my flat, and played it solidly for that entire week. And couldn't shake the feeling that entire week that I wasn't enjoying it as much as I wanted to enjoy Final Fantasy. I mean, I think this is another cool thing about Final Fantasy is that it's so, all the games are so varied within it that you can have and you often do have quite passionate debates among Final Fantasy fans about what games are good, what games are not so good. And I know there are lots of people who love Final Fantasy 13 and the wider 13 trilogy. It's not for me. It just wasn't for me. And I wasn't disappointed. I was just like sad. I remember being sad, like, I want to love this game so much.
Exactly.
But it just wasn't doing it for me. So I at the time, I had a job I wasn't particularly enjoying, and I'd always been like an avid games magazine reader since the Final Fantasy IX days.
And
I was like, I'm just gonna write a review of this. Send it into a bunch of magazines, see what happens. So I wrote a review of Final Fantasy 13. My wife, then girlfriend, was working as a graphic designer, so she designed like a pretend magazine for me.
Love it.
Had it printed out magazine style. I did like a meet the editor page at the start, which had a little picture of me and copying the style of official PlayStation magazine. I was like, they are going to notice me. They're going to get loads of people sending in reviews all the time, being like, please, I would love a job. Because everyone wants the dream of being able to write about games for a living. So it's like, okay, what can I do to try and make mine stand out? And then I did my own cover mount, but it was a Kit Kat instead of a demo disc. So I sellotaped a Kit Kat to the front of this magazine. And the magazine was called Give Me a Break magazine. So I was like, the least they're gonna have to at least reply to me just to say thank you for the Kit Kat. So I made 4 of these magazines and sent them to a bunch of video game magazine editors. And ended up getting some work experience at official PlayStation magazine off the back of it. And at that time they were launching something called First Play, which was a weekly downloadable show that you could buy on PlayStation Network. And it ran for about a year, I think. So I did a little bit of editing experience on that, video editing, that is, because that was my background. I did film and TV at university, and I was a video editor by trade. And then I was just in the right time at the right place when PlayStation Access started after that, and they were looking for a script writer. But also the fact that I could video edit as well was like, we can get a 2-in-1 here. And that was it. Like, if I'd have enjoyed Final Fantasy 13, I wouldn't have been in that place at that time.
If it had been a good game, you wouldn't have had a career.
Exactly.
I love it.
Final Fantasy 13, I think objectively is a good game.
I just didn't
get on with it.
I love it.
If I'd have liked Final Fantasy 13, I would not be sitting on this chair talking to you.
That's hilarious.
And so I'm very thankful to Final Fantasy 13 because that was my dream. That was my absolute dream as a kid, was to write about video games in a magazine for a living. Happened a little bit differently, and I wrote about them on a YouTube channel instead. But I could never have dreamed of the journey that sort of path would take me on. 12 years ago now we're talking.
It's amazing.
So thanks Final Fantasy 13.